Hey there. Today we are going to be talking about writing arguments. I've noticed many of you are not quite understanding what it means when the question or the prompt says to support your claim using evidence from the texts. Many of you are writing your opinions or your arguments, but you're not telling me anything about why you feel that way based on any evidence that was included in the reading. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that in hopes that that will help you the next time you go to write an essay or a short answer where it asks you to support with evidence. Here's our situation. Because I said so. Imagine you're buying a skateboard. Your mom says you have to buy a helmet too. You ask, why? And she answers, because I said so. Not happy, you point out that none of your friends wear helmets. Evaluate the reasons she gives you for insisting you buy one. So we're going to look here at a list of arguments that your mom made, and we're going to judge them based on, fair enough, or it's not so-so, or 3, not good. This is not a good reason. First one is statistics show that as a beginner, you're 3 times more likely to get hurt than an experienced skater is. A helmet will protect your head if or when you fall. Fair enough. I think that's a fair enough argument. People will think I'm a terrible mother if I don't make you wear a helmet. Well, your mom said that. Do you really think that's a good argument? No. Really, that's just her opinion. The most serious injuries associated with skateboarding are head injuries that can cause permanent damage or even death. That sounds like a pretty good argument right there. The next one is wearing a helmet will make you feel safe and give you the confidence to develop skills and attempt more difficult moves. What do you think, so-so or fair enough? I think it sounds pretty fair enough. And lastly, head injuries can require expensive medical care, and we don't have a lot of money, so we should buy a helmet to avoid those costs. I'd give that a so-so. Now, let's check and see if we're right. Look at that, we are. We have evaluated the arguments based on how strong we thought they were. You can do that while you're reading. Okay, what is support? Support is material that is used to prove a claim or a counterclaim. A counterclaim is also known as a counterargument, or basically the opposing side. In an argument, support usually consists of reasons and evidence. Explore the graphic organizer to see how support works in a well-constructed argument. So here we have a graphic organizer. At the top is our claim, which is basically what the whole thing's about. The claim below is valid, but a claim alone is not enough. You must provide reasons and evidence to support a claim, or readers will be left asking why. So the claim before was that your mom claimed that you should be buying a helmet or wearing a helmet when you skateboard. In this example, the claim is magazines should stop retouching their photos of fashion models. Let's look at a reason. A reason is a statement that explains to the readers why they should believe your claim. Reasons are often connected to the claim with the word because or other cause and effects transition words such as this is why, and so, for this reason, and consequently. Those are all transition words for a cause and effect relationship. The example here is magazines should stop retouching their photos of fashion models. The first reason given, magazines should stop retouching their photos of fashion models because these photos are giving us unrealistic ideas about beauty. Now, let's see if we can find what evidence they have to support that reason. Their first evidence says, thanks to digital editing software, people always have six-pack abs, bulging muscles, and tiny waists. Everyone's hair is always perfect. Okay, that's their first evidence. Let's see what the second evidence is. The second evidence for that claim is that in one photo, the model's waist had been made to look even smaller than her head. She looked more like a Barbie doll than a human being. Okay, so that's the main claim. magazines should stop retouching their photos. The first reason, which was unrealistic ideas about beauty. The first evidence, which was that digital editing software, everyone looks perfect. And the second evidence was that in one picture, a model's waist was even smaller than her head. So we go back to the original claim, and let's look at the second reason. The second reason that magazines should stop retouching their photos of fashion models is because seeing so many unrealistic body images is bad for a teenager's self-image and health. Okay, let's see what the evidence is to support that reason. Their first evidence, which they've now labeled number 3 because it's the third evidence, 1, 2, 3, to support this claim. So that evidence is many research studies have proven that there is a link between media exposure to unrealistic body images and teen health problems such as eating disorders. And the last piece of evidence is Dr. Lana Minto, an expert on eating disorders, says, the endless parade of incredibly thin women in the media has an adverse effect on the body-related self-esteem of women who feel the pressure to be thin, most especially adolescents. They have the worst self-body image of any age group. Okay, so based on that, they came up with the 4 evidences to support their 2 reasons of the one claim. Let's continue. Okay, now we're going to talk about types of evidence. It says, types of evidence. In an argument, evidence can include facts, examples, statistics, quotations, and anecdotes. Examine each type of evidence below to learn more. Now, let's look over here. It says, tip. Although each piece of evidence supports a specific reason, all of the evidence should clearly relate to the writer's position or claim. The evidence must also come from trustworthy and reliable sources. And by now, I'm sure you all know what is considered a trustworthy or a reliable source. Prove it. To prove it, we need to provide proof for the reasons you are stating by using facts, examples, statistics, quotations, or anecdotes. Remember, anecdotes are short stories. Okay, how do we get rid of that? Close that. Close that. Facts are statements that can be proven. Fact. The American Medical Association has suggested that advertisers avoid changing photographs in a way that show unrealistic body images. Okay, that is a fact. We could go back to the American Medical Association and look that up. Facts. Oh, we just discussed that one, sorry. Okay, the next one is examples. Examples show a particular case that represents the idea in question. The example for this is, in one photo, a model's skin had been airbrushed to remove flaws. We do that a lot in pictures. Statistics. Statistics are facts that are expressed in numbers. The example of a statistic is Swiss researchers studied the effect of media images on 7,420 teenagers. They found that 40% of the girls and 18% of the boys were dissatisfied with their own appearance. So that statistic is something that could also be shown as a fact by looking it up. This study obviously did happen. Quotations. Quotations are exact word-for-word statements from others. Quotations from experts on the topic provide strong, reliable evidence. Here's an example of a quotation. It says, quotation, one well-known model recently made headlines when she protested about an image of her that had been digitally altered. They made me so thin the picture doesn't even look anything like me anymore, and I'm wearing a size 0, so I'm already thinner than most people. And lastly is an anecdote. Anecdotes are brief stories or accounts to prove a point about a topic. My sister stopped eating breakfast and lunch because she wants to lose weight. She says she Okay, to pick up where we left off, we were talking about anecdotes, which are brief stories or accounts of events that prove a point about the topic. An example of an anecdote: my sister stopped eating breakfast and lunch because she wants to lose weight. She says she won't stop until she can tie a bandana around her waist like a model she saw in a magazine. Identifying reasons and evidence. A well-built argument may include more than one reason to support its claim and counterclaim, and it may include more than one piece of evidence for each reason. Use the highlighter to mark the following. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we're going to use a highlighter to identify the claim, a counterclaim, a reason, and an evidence. We know there's only going to be one claim. Over the last several decades, women have come much closer to achieving equality in the workplace, politics, and business. This progress, however, does not show up on the football field. In our school, boys and girls can play basketball, soccer, and tennis, and yet football remains strictly a boys' club. To address this inequality, our middle school football team should be made co-ed. In this paragraph, this first paragraph, we should be definitely telling our reader what the claim is going to be. In this paragraph, it was obvious to me that the claim that this person's going to be writing about is that the middle school should have a co-ed football team. Now, as we continue, let's look for counterclaim, reasons, or evidence. First, many young women love the sport but are unable to participate. According to ratings released by the Nielsen Company, female viewers watch National Football League games more than they tune into professional baseball or basketball games. Yet, young female fans have no way to play their favorite sport in a competitive setting. Okay, to me, in that paragraph, I definitely think that we saw some reasons. The reason that they feel, oops, I went too high, that their claim of girls in middle school should have a football team for girls is that young women love the sport but are unable to participate. Okay? That's going to be a reason. And then they also talked about some evidence. They said that the Nielsen Company did a study and found that women don't watch baseball or basketball games, they watch football games. Okay? Now, let's look at the next paragraph. Also, some young women are born athletes. They're physically fit and muscular. Plus, they have a strong understanding of on-field strategies. This has already been proven in other sports. Elvira Falcone, former professional basketball player, who is now a sports analyst for college basketball games, says, "The young women I see on the courts today are just as strong, just as fast, and just as capable as the male players. In competition, I think many of the girls' teams would smoke the boys right off the court." Okay, do we happen to see another reason? Yes, we do see another reason right here. Some women are born athletes, physically fit and muscular, have a strong understanding of on-field strategies. Guess we should include this word also. All right, then they're saying that it's been proven in other sports. What's the evidence? The evidence is this Elvira Falcone. She's the professional basketball player, and she said she sees them doing really well. And there's a direct quote there. The young women I see on the court. See the quotations? A direct quote. However, the head coach of our football team does not seem to think that the strength, speed, and intelligence are enough. My main concern, and the concern of most parents I've spoken to, Coach Fred Parcell said, is the safety of the girls. Obviously, football is a very rough, very physical contact sport. Most girls have naturally smaller physiques than the boys on our team and the teams we play. The chance for girls to be injured is too high a risk to take. So right there, we see a counterclaim. What color was the counterclaim? Pink. So we're going to take pink, and we're going to say that the counterclaim is that the chance, the hold on a second. Okay. So his main concern is for safety, and that's basically the evidence that he's saying. It's a quote. Actually, let's make this whole thing. And the reason that he's saying that is he doesn't seem to think that strength, speed, and intelligence are enough. While coaches' concerns are understandable, they are unfair. The risk of injury is the main reason to keep girls off the team, then boys should not play either. Last year, senior quarterback Kenny Johnson had his leg broken and needed 2 surgeries. Defensive end Paulie Josephs and Ivan Blackstone each suffered concussions and were out of the rest of the season. Yes, football is a rough sport, but boys are just as likely to be seriously injured as girls. That's our counterclaim, in my opinion. Okay? So let's see what we find out when we check the answers. Over the last several decades. Okay, here we go. So the yellow is the claim, so we were right. Then we have our first piece of reason. Then the blue is our evidence. We have another reason and more evidence to support that reason. And then we have a counterclaim. Okay, which I did not select the correct counterclaim. The counterclaim, if risk of injury is the main reason to keep girls off the team, then boys should not play either. And then the counterclaim's evidence is that last year the senior and the other people got hurt, and then the support for that, or the reason, is that football is a rough sport, but boys are just as likely to be seriously injured as girls. So if you notice, I made mistakes myself. Okay, so don't feel bad if you make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's part of being a human. But this is what I mean when I or another teacher asks for you to support your answer using evidence from the text. It means you go back and you find evidence and you put that into your answer. Hopefully this clarified what it means to cite evidence. You do need to make sure that you're doing that every time you're asked to do that in a question. All right, well, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.